want people to want to fight AIM, but at the same time, we also really want you to love AIM.
Many Marvel fans know what Hydra is. Hydra is all about using military might to conquer. AIM is all about science.
AIM starts off very noble. They believe that they can offer the world an alternative to the superheroes.
As AIM, it's all about science and logic, and it doesn't make sense to have these people who are above everyone else, so we should neutralize that. That makes a dangerous world for the Avengers.
So after the disaster of A-Day, the superheroes are outlawed, and AIM sort of steps in and fills that vacuum.
To the public, AIM is helpful, and they're bringing tomorrow's technology today. But then, as you investigate things with Kamala and the Avengers, and you go to some of the AIM headquarters, that's where you start getting into the black heart of AIM.
They have invented technology that is so epically powerful, and AIM consumed all of Stark Industries after the events at A-Day, so they have access to technology, to insights, and since they worked with the Avengers, they also know their weak points.
So to make sure that AIM is as insidious as they should be, we really studied their first appearances.
Comics are always the first step. So that core DNA basically influences every aspect of the design process that Crystal does.
And we just found all sorts of crazy locations that they built, and weapons that they've built, and robots they've created. Their design is very functional. It's not very showy.
It's funny because if you actually asked an AIM scientist if they thought their designs were sinister, they would be befuddled by that. They wouldn't understand it. Sometimes that might end up looking a little alien, and for them it's just roll it out the door. You're gonna come up against a wide variety of AIM threats as you play through the world of Marvel's Avengers. You'll be faced with robot automatons that they have created, big exosuit wearing mech troops that are gonna be able to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, as well as some large mechanized threats. But no AIM experience would be complete without the classic beekeeper.
Because they wear these kind of helmets that look like beekeeper helmets. What that comes from is in the comics, the individual members of AIM were anonymous.
And that collective mentality, that hive mind, makes you automatically think of the structures and the hierarchies that work within a beehive. That honeycomb shape seemed like the perfect way to express the ideals of AIM, so we try to bleed it throughout the design of AIM wherever we can to help provide both texture and architectural detail in their structures.
So at the beginning of the game, you meet some of the founders of AIM, George Tarleton and Monica Rappaccini.
George Tarleton's a very complex character. He truly believes in a world protected by science.
He finds the Avengers to be very dangerous. Power that is unchecked and unregulated like that is a dangerous thing. And so he wants to put checks and balances on that sort of thing. You may not agree with his methods, but at least if you can understand where he's coming from, for me that's a victory. Marvel's bringing up really like one of these original supervillains as well, you know? Like, it's cool, I think, that it's not always the same sorts of like familiar stories that we're finding, right?
Where George is very reserved, Monica is much more assertive.
She is the second in command, if you will, with George Tarleton.
Monica's issue with the superheroes really is they just sort of stand in her way because all that matters to her are her experiments with the Inhumans. When they try to sort of stop her from doing that, that is her big conflict. You know, I kind of feel like she means well, but then maybe not so much.
We wanted to really poke at these kind of serious ideas of what is the dangers of science? How can technology be a positive thing and how can it be a negative force?
AIM is an essential part of our original story that we at Crystal Dynamics have been, working so hard to create.
With anything Marvel, it's all about understanding who they are at their core. When it comes to AIM and Marvel's Avengers, it's all about looking to the past, but then bringing that to the future.